here. All right, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
All right, how do we
Good
say good morning in Italian?
Morning.
Buonavetta?
Bonavetta. Very nice. Bonavetta. There's our first Italian lesson. All right, so it is exactly 1 month until the day we leave. Yay! So exciting. So what I thought we would do today is that we would have a meet and greet. And for some of you, you might be meeting your roommates for the first time. For some of us, we meet frequently in other places that we aren't meeting for the first time. And we're going to get, and many of you are meeting each other absolutely for the first time, not just your roommates. So what I wanted to do today is do kind of a meet and greet so that those that are on the call can meet some of the others and we start to get to know each other's faces. We opened up prior to the recording with some Dean Martin songs, including That's Amore, which I'm pretty sure we'll sing more than once on the bus. So, because we do sing on the bus, just in case you don't know. So by a show of hands, who has been on one of the Sacred Gifts trips before? All right, so let's just, I'm going to ask you, I'm going to call on each of you by name, and then you can just give us a few comments about your past experience and what you love most about our past trips. All right, Jacqueline, we'll start with you. You can unmute yourself.
Buongiorno tutti. What I've loved most about our trips is being with other like-hearted people, and the whole adventure, just the whole adventure of the places that we've been to, the experiences that we've had, the experiences that you, Monique, have created for us. They've all been wonderful, memorable, and I just have a hard time thinking about traveling any other way.
All right, thank you. Sandy, how about you? Oh, hang on. So Jacqueline, which trips have you been on? Where have you been with us?
Peru twice, India, Ireland.
All right, and let's go to Sandy. Hey, Sandy.
Hi.
Oh,
well, I went to your first Peru trip.
Yeah.
I still talk about it all the time when I talk about traveling. It was a very sacred experience, so I'm expecting the same thing, and I'm really excited.
Thank you. All right, and Estelle, how about you?
This will be my 5th trip with Sacred Gifts, and actually ditto to Sandy. I can't imagine traveling any other way. When people ask me about the trip, first of all, they're all envious that I have a sister that organizes the whole thing, and I just sign up, and they go, wow. But the sacred element in each one of them, so different. Peru, India, Ireland, so different. So that I'm very much looking forward to. And then I tell people, as well as a sacred aspect to the trip, my sister likes her creature comfort, so we always eat well and we stay in comfortable lodging. So what more do you want?
Perfect, thank you. And Stella, how about you? How was your experience and where did you go?
My first experience was Ireland, and ditto to what everybody said. It's really, you create that sacred place, which is not only experiencing that, but having fun with it. So the bus rides are always fun. The evenings are always fun. There's just so much, and all of it just all works. So I'm very excited about this trip as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Stella. And Mary, how about you? Where have you been and what did you love the most?
To Peru and Ireland. So number 4 coming up. What do I love the most? Everything. The main thing for me is that it is a sacred trip, and the places that we go sometimes are off of the tourist track, so we get to see things that regular tourists don't get to see. and we get to experience them in a totally different way to the average tourist. And I just love that. I love all the sacredness of it. I love the energy around all of that. And for me, as you know, the first Peru trip was mind-blowing for me because I ended up in tears many times because I felt like I had come home. And it was such an experience, a deep and intense experience. So I'm looking forward to Italy. I've never been there. It's been on my bucket list for years. So, hey, I'm ready. I'm more than ready.
Mary, share with the group where you live.
Oh, I live in Devon in England, in the southwest, in that little tail that lives underneath Wales.
Yeah, so Mary won't be traveling quite as far as the rest of us will be to get to Venice. All right, thank you, Mary. And let me see, who else have we got here? Fraser, how about you?
Every trip has been really unique, and they've always had the spiritual part of the trip has been very important, but we have a lot of fun. The singing and the evenings and the socializing and then getting to meet some of our hosts that the different places that we've been to have been pretty unique. Our tour people, I'm thinking about the Peru trip with the Rogelio and Washi and the people we met there, and our trip to India, it was just wonderful, and Carol and Martin and the different experiences we had there, and that was, to me, that was a very special trip, and Ireland was unique in its in the way that it was very familiar country, because there's a lot of us have those European type roots, and that was a very unique trip as well. And this I'm really looking forward to Italy for lots of reasons. So can't wait just another few weeks and we'll be on the plane. So yeah, it's great.
Looking forward to that first hug, Fraser.
I get to see No Fun, Mary, and a whole bunch of new people that we haven't traveled with yet. So yeah, it's going to be a great experience. It's just going to create a larger family for our traveling group. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. And I get to reunite with Sandy. There you're over there, and it'll be good to see you again. Anyway, I'll pass it back to whoever else. And Minik, who's just right over there, actually upstairs. Yeah.
Monique, you're on mute.
We call Mary No Fun Mary. We call her, and you'll see why. And Mary likes to hug a lot, even random trees as we pass them by. So you'll get to know that about Mary. All right, so let's see, who else? Evelyn. Evelyn, you've traveled with us. Where have you been, and how have your experiences been?
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you. Oh, we could hear you. You muted yourself. Just a sec here.
Unmute myself. Now
Good.
Can you hear?
Yes.
Oh, all right. This will be my second trip. I was in Peru and Ireland. The best part of this kind of traveling is that it's not organized by a tour company, so you know exactly what you're getting. Everything on this trip, not everything, many things are unexpected, and that's the part I love about it. I went to Peru and Ireland, shared with my friend No Fun Mary, and now I've been replaced. So I hope you have a good time, Mary, without me. So it's going to be wonderful to see you again, and Paul, and to reunite with Sandy and all the sisters and Stella, everybody, and some of my new friends and are coming this time. So we've told them it's going to be amazing. So I'm looking forward to it so much. It's going to be great to see all of you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. All right, so let's hear from the ones who haven't traveled with us before. We'll have you introduce yourselves, where you're from, and then who your roommate is. We'll see. I've got the pairs kind of written down here, but there's probably half the people aren't on the call. Well, not quite. Yeah, no, not quite half, but maybe we've got like 10 people that aren't on the call. So unfortunately, we can't have all the roommates meet each other, but there will be, this is being recorded, and I'm going to be creating a YouTube link and putting it in the group, so the others who aren't on the call are going to be able to see this as well. So, so make sure if your roommate's not on here that you give a shout out to them. Okay, so I'm going to start at the top of my list here, and let's see, I'm going to go back to you, Stella. So Stella, you are going to be rooming up with who?
My husband, Dennis.
And is he out of bed?
No.
Why not?
He's a late-in sleeper.
He is. He is, except on the trip. Dennis found out that when he was in Ireland, and actually he did awesome. He was up every single morning, and not that our mornings are super early, but he did fantastic. So you guys will be meeting Dennis later. And Dennis also came to Ireland with Stella with us 2 years ago. Okay, so Stella, why don't you share one of your sacred gifts, or a couple of your sacred gifts that you know of?
The two that are most prominent are the sacred gift of assistance and the sacred gift of service.
Thank you. And some of you on the call or listening to the recording may not know yet what your sacred gifts are. And if you haven't done the questionnaire or the assessment, please be sure to let me know, because I'll send it to you. You can fill out the questionnaire and then send me back the results, which would be great. Okay, so next on the list, I have Cherie. So Cherie, you introduce yourself, where you're from, and why you decided to come on this trip, and give a shout out to your roommate.
Ooh. Well, good morning, everybody. Sorry, am I on?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm really excited to come. I have to tell you, I'm rooming with Susan Moses, and Susan and I have met up a couple of times already. So, you know, I think that's going to be absolutely grand. Why have I decided? Well, because I've looked on them with envy for so many years. My friend Evelyn, my friend Lynn, who you may know as Joy Lynn, have, of course, participated in the past, and we've been long, long time friends. So I'm excited. I've known Manette for years, indirectly. So yeah, I did take the course about, I think, 8 years ago, and to tell you the truth, I don't remember what my sacred gifts are. But on the other hand, I'm redoing the online course, and I'm starting this week. So by the time we're ready to go, I should really know who I am. So
Good for you. Good. Yes, and the digital online course is included in your trip costs. So for any of you that don't have a copy of it, just let me know. We'll send it to you, and the assessment is in there. You can do the Sacred Gifts assessment on its own, or you can do the entire course. So that's great. Cherie, it's great to have you with us this time.
thank you.
So one fun fact I can tell you about Cherie is when you ask her, "How are you, Cherie?" What are you going to answer?
It's magic. I mean, like
magic. That's always her answer. All right, so let's go to Dana. So Dana, if you can introduce yourself and why you decided to come on this trip and who your roommate is.
Yeah, well, my roommate is Jacqueline, and very excited about that. We actually went to Italian days, so we got to know each other a little bit, and I think we're extremely compatible. So looking forward to that. I'm going on this trip because the timing was perfect. For me, other years it hasn't been. This is just great. And my sacred gifts are teaching, wise counsel, and knowledge. And I am experimenting with the gift of intercession.
Very nice. Thank you. And Jacqueline, what are you? So Jacqueline, you've always been with your sister Estelle on all of the trips. And this time you're going to have a new roomie. So what do you think of that?
I think it's wonderful. I think it would have been wonderful to room again with Estelle, because we're good roomies. We're just real good roomies. But I'm always open to new experiences, new wonderful experiences. And when Dana asked to room with me, I yeah, of course. And we worked together a little bit at the workshop, Sacred Gifts workshop. So it'll just be getting to know each other even better.
Great. And Jacqueline, what are a couple of your sacred gifts?
Craftsmanship, the one that I'm going to be experimenting with are going to be knowledge. Knowledge and service is definitely one of them as well. And music and other such goodies.
Yes, Jacqueline is going to be our official trip music director. So she doesn't know that yet. She just found that out right now, just this moment. So Jacqueline, amongst some of my other sisters, as some of you may know, I have 3 sisters coming with me this time. In the past, Jacqueline and Estelle have always come, but we have another sister, Suzanne, who is not on the call this morning, but she will also be joining us. And Suzanne is going to be now roomed up with Estelle. So Estelle, where are you calling from?
Terrace, British Columbia.
All right. And what are a couple of your sacred gifts?
Well, it seems like encouragement and hospitality pop up a lot, but I will be experimenting with a few others. And I think extraordinary trust comes up a lot as well. So obviously, here I am and trusting you implicitly. Trusting that my new roomie, although she's my sister, I have never traveled with her. I don't even, well, I can guess a few of her sacred gifts, but don't really know them. So it's going to be fun discovering my new roomie.
Good. Excellent. Thank you. And then we have another couple, and neither of them are on here. I don't think. I'm just going to look here on the list quickly because I see there's 16 of us on the call right now, but not all the pictures are showing up. But we have Kathy and Bill. So Kathy and Bill are husband and wife, recently married just in the last couple of years. And Kathy retired this year. And strangely enough, so Kathy is a nurse, a registered nurse that I trained with back in the 70s. We lived in nurses' residence together. She lived a couple doors down from me, and for 3 years we were neighbors in this nurses' residence. And then we always stayed friends over the years. But coincidentally, she ended up working for, I always want to say Workman's Comp, WorkSafe BC. And she lives here in the Lower Mainland, and my sister has worked for many years at Suzanne as a nurse for WorkSafe BC in Nelson, British Columbia, in the Kootenays, and the two of them know each other really well through work. So they've worked together on the phone for many, many years. They've known each other. So they're going to be getting to spend some time together, and both of them retired from WorkSafe BC. Suzanne retired just a couple of weeks ago, and Kathy retired in April. So I'm sure they're going to have lots to talk about. Next, we have Claudette. And Claudette, I see that you're on here. I don't see your lovely face, but I do see that you're on the call. Are you able, can we hear you?
No.
No. Okay.
I don't know how to do that.
Oh, that's
But we
okay.
can
But
hear you.
you can just talk, Claudette, and we can hear you.
Can you
Yeah.
hear me?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes. we
That's
can hear you.
wonderful. I just didn't know how to do things here.
Yeah, no, you're doing
I'm
great.
really, yeah, I'm really enjoying seeing all of you. And I have met a lot of you, and there'll be more people to meet. And I'm kind of excited about the trip. I really feel like going. Yeah. So I feel very emotional about it. And the fact that you can hear me. My gifts are assistance and service and music and some knowledge, and and my trust is opening up more and more. I really enjoyed the trips with you, Monique, although I've only been once to Peru. For whatever other reasons, I didn't go any other trips, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to meeting all of you. I'm looking forward to all the surprises from you, Monique, and all the pictures from Fraser that you promised, Fraser. So I have no camera. So looking forward, and it's only like barely a month away. So yeah.
Yes. And
Now.
who's
Yes.
your roommate?
Oh, my roommate is Nelly Johnson. And we met, she was in the first Peru, and there was a potluck after the second Peru, which I was on. And yeah, we met, and I really liked the person. She was really nice, a good sense of humor, and very pleasant. But we still haven't met. We meet on emails or on the phone and with different life, different things going on. And I think I really enjoy rooming with Nelly. So yeah.
Thank you. And the way that I met Sadette and Cherie, and Joy Lynn, who's going to be on the trip, but she's not on the call today, and Jackie, another Jackie, who's going to be on the trip, not on the call today. All of us.
I'm on there.
And oh, hi. Oh, great. You're here. Great, Jackie. And also Fraser and Jacqueline. So all of those people that I mentioned, Evelyn, all of us volunteered together at a hospice thrift store. And that's actually how, and I was really quite amazed when I looked at the list the other day. I thought, my goodness, from that volunteering, all these amazing friends. And then Evelyn had known each other before, many years ago in the 90s. And then we both end up volunteering at the same thrift store again. So that's one of the connections we have with, not all the connections have come directly through Sacred Gifts. And a lot of the connections here have come through that thrift store. Nayli is a retired medical doctor, and she lives here in the Lower Mainland as well. And Nayli has traveled with us once before. Nayli was on the first trip to Peru, and Claudette was on the second trip to Peru. So yeah, it'll be fun for them to get to meet up. Okay, so then next we have Mary. And Mary, tell us who your roommate is and tell us something about him.
My roommate is my partner, Paul. And he is not on the call today because he's an avid Plymouth Argyle football fan, and the away game is in Newport in Wales today, and that's where he is. So that is Paul, and we're just actually working our way through the Sacred Gifts program together for him to discern his gifts. So I'm not going to even guess at this point because we're still working on it, but I've got a pretty good idea what his gifts are.
Good, thank you. And that reminds me that on this trip, this has also never happened before. So some of you may know that the Sacred Gifts program has a certification training where we train people to become certified guides where they can guide others through their sacred gifts. So on this trip, we have Stella, who's a certified guide. We have Jacqueline, who is a certified guide. Dana is a certified guide, and Dana also is the trainer for the certification program. Estelle is a certified guide. Let's see, Mary is a certified guide. And going down my list here. Yeah, I think that's it.
And Brenda.
So,
Brenda.
oh, and Brenda, yes, Brenda. I can't see Brenda on here, but I saw her picture and then she disappeared.
There she is.
Yeah, I think she's, yeah, there she is. There we go. Yes, and Brenda, certified guides. So we've got lots of certified guides, and they are going to have special assignments on the trip. They are going to be playing Spot the Gift as part of the work. And the reason I'm doing that is so that you guys can write off your trip. We'll make it a work trip, right? So it'll be perfect. Yeah. All right, so let's go to you, Brenda. So Brenda, tell us where you're from and why you're coming on this trip.
Okay, I'm from Sherwood Park, Alberta. Right now I'm in Didsbury. There's a parade going on behind me. So what a great time to be on the call. Can you see them all? So
Yeah.
great, so exciting. Just adds on to the excitement. Just gonna walk around the corner because it's starting to get a little bit loud. Give me a second. Oh, here we go. Sorry. I'm gonna run.
I don't think the running is going to necessarily get rid of us.
There we go. Perfect. Okay, I'm around the corner. So yeah, so one of the reasons that I'm going on this trip is that it has always been, I've always talked about it since a little child, is that it is my lifelong dream to go to Italy before I die. I'm not going to die too soon. I've made it out there and put it out there. I'm going to live to 104. But one of the things that I'm going to go to Italy with is the dreams of my grandmother, my mother, and my aunt, who my aunt just passed away on June 15th, and that was one of her greatest wishes. So I'm going to take her with me, and my mom and my grandmother, and bring them and fulfill, kind of break the generational thing of ladies, of the women in my life who haven't been able to fulfill their lifelong dreams. So I'm really excited about that. Very excited to room with Kathy Walcott. And she's on a motorcycle trip, I believe. And my sacred gifts are our knowledge, teaching, as well as service, big time. And then the biggest one for me is Extraordinary Trust. So I'm going on this trip with Extraordinary Trust. And of course, the knowledge part of me always wants to know exactly what to wear, where we're going. And so I'm going to learn how to relax and just be in the moment. So that's me.
Well, I got to tell you, what you're dressed in right now looks absolutely perfect. You've got the nice sunglasses, you've got the sun hat, you look like you're ready to go.
I'm ready to go. I'm packing my bags. I can't believe it. I'm usually a packer that does it maybe the night before, but I have to tell you, I've got my 2 suitcases and the checklist all almost completed. So, yay! I'm excited.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks so much, Brenda. Thanks very much.
All right.
All right, and so Brenda's going to be roomed up with Kathy Walcott. Kathy Walcott was on the first trip to Peru, and so she also lives here in the Lower Mainland. She is a hairdresser here. She has the gifts of healing, I know for sure, and service, and absolutely lovely. So Brenda, you're going to have a marvelous time with Kathy. Great match there. Okay, so, and I wanted to mention with Mary that we've never met Paul. So I've known Mary since 2001, I think I started, or 2003, I started working in palliative care at Vancouver General Hospital, and Mary was a nurse there. And so I've known Mary all these years, but I've never actually met Paul. So I'm looking forward to meeting him.
That's because when we first met, we were separated and divorced.
Well, I wasn't going to volunteer that information. That's going to be a wonderful story to share one night while we're sitting around with a glass of wine.
Yeah. Or 3.
Yeah.
All right, excellent. Okay, and then Darlene and Lynn are roomed up together, and I don't think either of them, I thought Lynn was going to be on the call. Is she still on her Alaska?
No, she's busy.
Okay, and so Darlene has traveled with us, and Lynn both came with us for the first time to Ireland. And Lynn, for whatever reason, every time I saw Lynn on the trip in Ireland, I called her Joy, so she became Joy Lynn. And so she's also she also volunteers at the thrift store, and then her roommate Darlene came with us to Ireland, and I met Darlene through I didn't know Darlene. It was her daughter who I met through a company called Make Your Mark Training. I was doing an event, and her daughter came to the workshop, and then when her daughter saw the trip to Ireland, she's the one who talked her mom into going. And now Darlene has decided to come back again. So Darlene and Lynn are going to be roommates. And then we have Debbie. And Debbie, how about if you introduce yourself and where you're from and why you're coming on this trip, and tell us about your roommate.
All right. Well, I'm really excited to come on the I'm from Calgary, and I met Mike in February when it was like minus 30 below. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. There's something to be here. And I loved it. And I heard about the trip and went, that's me. I love to travel where I'm learning something new, and just going to be an amazing experience. I learned that my gifts were hospitality, encouragement, and trust. And so I'm looking to see what gift I'm going to uncover that's one that I haven't acknowledged yet. Because these were ones that I knew. I retired from being a financial planner 5 years ago, and have just really had an amazing time learning about me. So I'm really looking forward to just expanding me. My roommate is my friend Neil, who lives in Olds, Alberta. So he's close up by the Didsbury Parade that's going on today, obviously. And he just retired and is just working on his sacred gifts. And I'm not sure if he's on the call or not. He was, but I'm not sure. And so he's just uncovering his gifts as well as what retirement looks like. So I've never been to Italy. Looking forward to what it offers and the traveling with this amazing group.
Great, thank you. And Neil, if you're on, actually I don't see Neil's name, but Neil, hello. You'll hear us on the recording, and I look forward to meeting you in person. I love the picture that Neil chose to post in the group. He's sitting having a pedicure, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, looks great. Yeah, Neil, these brave souls on this trip, Fraser, Paul, Dennis, Neil, Bill. Those are the 5 men that we've got traveling with all these women. We take good care of our men. So what we typically do is pretty much every morning on the trip, we give them all hugs. You like that part, right, Fraser?
I'll be there.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so let's go to Joan next. So Joan, I'll have you say hello and introduce yourself and where you're from and why you decided to come on the trip and who your roommate is.
I am from Ontario. I live in Brampton, which is a GTA. I've known you for over 10 years through Peaks and then through Make Your Mark. I met Stella as well, and Jacqueline and Mary through Peaks. I've been connected with you on Facebook. I've watched the various trips that you had posted and always wanted to go, but my husband didn't want to go on them, and he passed away last year, so I thought now's a good time for me to go. Never been to Italy. I think it's good. Just in everything I read, it's a connection for me with other people because I'm a lone wolf. I do a lot of businesses, but I do them very much alone. So to travel with a group, and I just did an England group in June, which was quite interesting. I did 1 week in Jersey and then 1 week in London on my own. Love to travel, so it's like, I'm pushing myself out to see the world and make connections.
Right.
And my roommate, my understanding is my roommate is Sandy, who I have not, other than seeing on Facebook, have not connected with. But another cool thing is that I'm staying an extra 3 days later, and Brenda and I are going to the spas for 3 days after. So I have 2 roommates, which is really exciting as far as connection is concerned.
Nice. Oh, that's wonderful.
And for Sacred Gifts, Monique, I'd like you to send me the assessment. I did it with somebody who was actually becoming one of your guides probably 10 years ago, and I kind of remember them, but I really don't. So it would be nice to do a refresher. So please.
Excellent. Thank you. And you are roomed up with Sandy, so let's go to Sandy. Are you still here, Sandy?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. So Sandy, here you go. You get to meet Joan.
Yeah, I didn't think she was going to be on the call, so I'm very happy to meet her, see her face.
Wow, that's great.
So my gifts are extraordinary trust, and as I told Monique in my email, I don't even look at the itinerary. I just know I'm supposed to go on this. I can hardly wait. I'm not one of those kind of people that needs to start packing now or anything. I just know I need to go. One of my other big gifts is compassion and service. And I'm really anxious to give Joan a hug after her little talk there. The other thing I didn't realize until it was one of the last emails or something, and Monique had mentioned healing as part of the theme of this gift. Of this trip? Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Where did I read healing on there?
Yeah, I'll talk about that in a minute, but yeah.
Okay, well, it's just perfect because I've just gone through a divorce that I wanted and a lot of stress and illness with my dad. And I'm just feeling like I'm back to my ordinary, wonderful self. And I think this will be the final piece of that healing. So I'm imagining that that's what it's going to be, and I'm going to come back 100%, not 95%.
Right.
So look forward to meeting you, Joan.
Oh, that's so nice. It's going to be so fun when we all meet in person. There'll be a whole lot of hugging going on.
I'm a hugaholic, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There's hugaholics on the trip, and then there's people on the trip that are not huggy people. And
Oh.
I had to laugh. I saw Stella and Dennis last night. So when Dennis came to Ireland, Dennis wears little readers and he wears them folded up and they're tucked right here in his shirt. And in Ireland, he always had these darn glasses there, you know, so you go to hug him and he had these glasses. So then I'd pluck them out, you know, I'd go to give him a morning hug and I'd reach over, pluck the glasses out, give him a hug, put the glasses back. And last night it just made me chuckle when he saw me, he took the glasses out himself. We've trained him. So it'll be a lot of fun. So there's some people who aren't huggers and they're not necessarily comfortable with that. And then there are some people that are hugaholics, and we all just are who we are. Okay, so then we have Brenda Lee. So Brenda is here. There she is. So Brenda, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us why you've come on the call and tell us about your roommate.
Well, as Monique said, my name is Brenda Lee, and actually this trip came about quite interestingly to me. I was actually planning about 2 years ago with a friend to travel to Italy, because right smack in the middle of our trip to Italy is my 60th birthday. So I had planned a couple of years ago in and around that, and the individual I was planning with unfortunately had a life circumstance change and we couldn't go. So I happened to be browsing through Facebook one day and bing, up came the trip to Italy with Monique. I went, that's where I'm supposed to be. So that was very divinely orchestrated, and I'm grateful that that popped up when it did. So, and I also wanted to, at this point in time, to be on a trip where I could be with other people and to be kind of taken care of, because I'm usually the one taking care of everybody. So I feel that all of the aspects of this trip are pretty cool. Looking forward again to meeting everybody on it. I have a very strong feeling that this is a massive trip of healing. I've gone through some personal challenges myself, and this is sort of the tip of the iceberg and the culmination of healing for me as well. And my gifts are, I did Monique's course a few years ago, and right in the middle of a period of time where I was really struggling, I did Monique's Sacred Gifts course, and I understood my gifts at that point in time and understood why I was struggling in the past. And one of my key gifts is the gift of hospitality, creativity, and in my previous life and job, I wasn't able to express that, and it pretty much ground me to a halt. So releasing my former job, releasing different things I no longer needed, I've now stepped into what are my gifts. I do lots of hosting in my home. I do paint parties in my home. I have lots of fun. I'm in the process of actually launching that as a business, because my friends have said, why are you not doing this outside of your home? And if you look at the Facebook page, you might see a painting in there, the Red Door, that's one of them. And my other gift of hospitality, creativity, and teaching. So I like to sort of combine those three, and that's what I know of my gifts at this point in time, and perhaps something else will pop up on the trip, I'm not too sure. I believe service is another one, because I do volunteer, and my background is woodworking and design, and I now volunteer in a woodworking shop with a group of ladies, teaching them woodworking skills. So it's kind of, life has kind of come full circle in a very beautiful way. And my partner on this trip, my roommate, is Gail Diamond. We've texted back and forth. I haven't officially met her yet, but I was hoping she'd be on this call today. And if she's not, I look forward to potentially connecting with her off the call prior to then. And that's a little bit about, oh, and another really interesting thing I discovered, I did the Ancestry.com thing about a year and a half ago, and I thought my lineage was Eastern European, Polish, Ukrainian, German. But what popped up on there was 7% Italian, and I have no idea who in the woodpile is Italian. So I just knew that maybe I'll discover something in Italy with respect to that. But that must have something to do with my love of cooking, because I enjoy that sort of entertainment cooking as well. So that's me at this point in time.
Thank you so much for that. And your roommate Gail Diamond, she lives in Ontario as well.
Okay.
And I met her through Make Your Mark training, actually. So I look forward to seeing her again too.
And I apologize. I also want to acknowledge Joan. Joan and I are going to be spending a few days at the end of the trip just honoring ourselves and acknowledging, you know, that we've had a lovely time together. And I actually have in fact connected with her, and she's a beautiful soul. And I absolutely look forward to giving her a huge hug when I see her. And I think it's going to be a fantastic trip. I just feel it tingling in my body. I'm so excited. And I'm not a planner of, well, I sort of am, but I've got clothes laid out on my spare bed. I'm like, I want to go. So I'm very excited about the trip, and I really look forward to meeting you all.
Nice. And on camera just popped up your roommate, Gail.
Oh,
and there she is. Hey, Gail. So,
sorry, I had some technical difficulties getting here.
Oh, that's okay. It's great you're here. So, Gail, why don't you introduce yourself, where you're from, why you decided to come on the trip, and you can say hi to your roommate, Brenda.
Hello, Brenda. So I am from just outside of Toronto, a little town called Campbellville, and I live on a farm with, I think there's about 160 critters there right now. Oh no, there's more, lots. Chickens and goats and horses and puppies and no bears, oh my. And I guess I decided to come on the trip. You know what? I've had a heck of a past couple of years, and this is my year of travel. So I didn't realize how much additional travel would be around, because I've had a few trips recently as well. But Italy's going to be a bit of an emotional one for me. Just it was potentially, that was one of the places that my late husband and I had looked at for honeymoon spots, and I don't know what drew me to say just do it to this trip, but I think, Monique, your excitement about it and hearing all the little things and just getting out of my comfort zone and traveling in a way that I've never traveled before. So I'm super excited, and like you, Brenda, I have clothes that I've started to put aside, and my pile of things that I'm going to be bringing with me, and figuring out how am I going to pack everything neatly so that I can unpack and repack and do that efficiently. So all that process is all happening in my noggin right now. So yeah.
Good. Well, that's excellent. Well, it's fun that you guys did get to meet.
Yeah.
All right, and then we have these two. So these two, man, this is just unbelievable how this happened, because the trip was basically filled. And then I was clear Evelyn was going to be on this trip. Like, I don't know what Evelyn was thinking, but I was clear. Jacqueline and I, we had our intentions set, let me tell you. And then Evelyn very recently joined the trip. So what we had to do was to put Evelyn with Svetlana. So Svetlana, as you know, is our coordinator, and the two of them were going to be roommates. And then we were at the thrift store one day, and Jackie Boone was there. And I can't remember what came up, but I asked Jackie about the trip or something. I can't remember what came up, but anyway, then I said to her, well, but Jackie, if you could go, if you had a magic wand and you could go, would you go on that trip? And she looked at me and she said, absolutely. And this was, I'm not kidding you guys, this was just not very long ago. And Jackie and Evelyn have become very close friends. And then all of a sudden it was like, I don't even know how you did this. I mean, talk about manifesting, because we do not even have room for you. So I think you're riding on the roof of the bus. But so anyway, so now Jackie is coming as well. The two of these crazy ladies are going to be roommates. And so Svetlana is thrilled because she gets a room to herself again. So I know she's very happy about that. So Evelyn, why don't, actually, Jackie, why don't we start with you? Why don't you introduce yourself? And so tell us a little bit about that crazy getting onto this trip.
Hi, I'm Jackie Boones. Yes, it is really crazy, because I'd been thinking about it in my head, how much fun it sounded like, and you guys were all talking about it, but you know, I understood it was all closed. And then the day you said that, it was like, yeah, I'd love to go. So anyway, everybody started manifesting for me, which is really funny. So it's a funny story. So I said to my husband, you know, do you ever want to go to Italy? And he went, no. And I said, oh. He said, are you going? And I said, well, you know, it's the money. He said, go. So it was really fun. And that might be one of the extraordinary trusts that I've just discovered, is one of my gifts. It's just, things just happen for me. It's not consciously that I think about it, but I've always believed that everything will turn out good, and I don't have to worry. So to have a label put on that was really special for me. So I'm really looking forward to it. I don't know about sharing a room with Evelyn. I know she snores. I've done this before, but see your face? See?
Oh, that's so fun. Yeah, these two are like crazy sisters. They met through, you guys met through the thrift store, right?
Yeah, and you know, I had only known her maybe 6 weeks, and I invited her to come to Mexico with me. We didn't know each other, and it worked like crazy. So there you go. There's that trust thing again.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Well, I am just super, super happy you're joining us, Jackie. I just think it's great. And it just is really marvelous how it worked out that you and Evelyn are both going to be there. So, Evelyn, what do you have to say about your snoring?
Absolutely nothing. I've never heard myself. So, but I know she snores. So it's going to be quite a interesting time. Noisy. Yeah. It doesn't matter. I've stayed with snorers before.
Yes, you have, haven't you, Evelyn?
Yeah,
I didn't name any names. I tell you, Mary, that I'm going to miss you terribly, but I really do have a fabulous replacement.
Yes, you do.
You
That
do,
sounds
you do.
amazing. It sounds amazing. And we can still hug every time we see each other, so we'll be good.
Absolutely. Yes, and Jackie's a hugger too.
I remember kind of early on in this trip, Evelyn saying that she couldn't imagine going without being roomed up with you, Mary.
Yeah.
So it is really fun how it's turned out and how it's turned out perfectly.
Yeah.
Imagine my shock when I found out you had another roommate. Oh well, everything works out the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
really
there you go.
I'm so happy for you. I really am. It's lovely. So good to see you, Maria.
Yes, you too, my darling.
And Evelyn, share a couple of your sacred gifts.
Well, I guess I have creativity and extraordinary trust. My whole life has been extraordinary trust. It's just the way life goes. And probably encouragement. Those are, I think, my top three. I don't know. I can't find the list, but that's what I remember.
All right. And I can resend it. You can redo it too if you want to.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
All right. So those are all the different roommates. And then Fraser and I round up the list. And then Svetlana's going to be with us. And then we also have an Italian coordinator or an Italian, I think they call them an Italian tour guide. So she's going to be with us as well. And she or he, I don't even know who it is, but they're going to be with us as well. So Svetlana and this Italian guide who's going to be with us, they're going to do all the background coordinating. Like by the time I get on this trip, I also step out of the planning thing and really, leave it to them. Or if there's anything that, I want to happen, then their job is to make it happen. So this is the biggest group that we've taken. By far the biggest group that we've done. And one of the reasons for that is because that was the only way to keep the cost down. And I'm telling you guys that's absolutely what it was, because the cost for Italy was just so crazy. And I think I mentioned it in one of the emails, but this tour came in at 5,800 euros, which is $8,000. And I just, I said to them, like, there's no way, that's not the price range for me. It's not the budget. It's not, we have to make it happen at under $6,000 Canadian. And so Svetlana and then Patricia, who we worked with in Italy, they really worked hard to do this. But one of the ways to do it was to increase the number of people. That was, a for sure thing we had to do. And so that's why this trip is one of the biggest ones. And I just trust it's perfect, right? It's just going to be perfect the way it is. So Saturday Sinners, Sunday Saints is the fun working name that we came up with for the trip, because it just sort of exemplifies our trips. In Ireland, we were spirits by day and spirits by night. And the spirits by day meant the sacred things that would be happening for some people. And then spirits by night was wine and beer and whiskey and gin. And so Saturday Sinners, Sunday Saints is that same kind of just putting a fun twist on it and being able to create whatever experience you want. So here's what I want to say for around the sacredness of the trip and the experiences that you have. It's 100% up to you. So my job is not to manufacture sacred experiences for you. I'm really clear that my job in this is to create a container and to create a container that you can have whatever experience you want. So you can go into a cathedral and you can walk around and you can think, this is a nice cathedral. You can walk into a cathedral and think, oh, this is another cathedral. I've already been in 5 cathedrals. You can walk in and you can look at the artwork and marvel at the stained glass. You can kneel down, you can pray, you can do whatever you want. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be downloading onto my phone, Fraser's going to do this for me, some Gregorian chant, so that when I'm in the cathedrals, I can put on my little earbuds, have some Gregorian chant playing, and be able to have my own experience. So I want you guys to know, we don't manufacture spiritual experiences for you. That's not possible. The whole thing is a spiritual experience because we are human spiritual beings. So whatever it is you want from it every single day is up to you. And that's going to be from you setting your intentions and really creating your own experience within the container we provide, which is really nice because like even on our Peru trip, we actually had little pins. Jacqueline had made little pins. And if somebody wanted to have a day in silence, they put their little pin on and nobody else talked to them. We just let them have a day in silence. Now, we didn't do that in Ireland, and it wasn't really fitting to Ireland to do that kind of thing. But that's what I mean by just you guys need to know that there are no expectations on you to be a certain way or to have a particular experience. If you're going to shop and have fun and drink wine and eat antipasto, the container is there for you to do that. If you're going to have profound spiritual experiences, the container is there for you to do that. And that's what I love about the trips, is that we create the container, you guys get to swim in that container and have whatever experience it is that you want, and there's no judgment. It's whatever it is you want it to be, and it'll be absolutely perfect for you. The theme, though, of healing kept coming in. I wasn't looking for that. It just kept coming in and coming in. This word healing kept coming in. And then when I posted it, quite a few of you mentioned something about it, or that seemed fitting for you. So that's kind of cool, right? And that's that's going to be up to you guys individually. If there's a healing you want on this trip, then that's up to you to invite that, to set the intention for that. If you want us to join you in the intention for that, you'll have opportunities to share that. And for and healing for each person on the trip could mean something different, and for some people it may not mean anything at all. So again, it's just completely individual, and that's what's really marvelous about it. So there's no expectations. It's the container's there. You swim in the container any way you want, and that's what we've always done. And it's just always worked well that people come out of it with whatever it is that they want to get from it. Is there any, just ask this because we're going to wrap up in about 5 minutes. So are there any burning questions that are relevant to the whole group that anybody has about the trip?
Yeah. So I just have a question. Of course I would. But I just have a question about carry. I know you brought the guys for us so they can help carry our bags. So how many places, I've gone through the itinerary, are we carrying our bags? Is it just the Venice one?
I'm going to answer that. I'm just going to mute you. Okay, so that's a great question, Brenda. Thank you for that. So in Venice, at this point, Venice is the only location where you will have to carry your bags. Now, having said that, we would like all of you to be responsible for your own bags, because you do need to bring them down to the bus, and the bus driver will load them in. So we don't travel with anybody that carries our bags for us, but some of the hotels may have that service. But keep in mind how many of us there are. So, 27 of us arrive at a hotel and there's one concierge or one bellhop. That's what we have to deal with. So I'm going to encourage all of you to choose luggage that you can manage yourself. But having said that, in Venice, we do have to carry our luggage from when you get off the boat in the canal along likely a cobblestone-y type of road, I'm guessing, and then to our hotel. And Svetlana said it was about 200 steps. And I asked her if she meant stairs, and she said no. She said it's not 200 stairs, it's like 200 steps, okay? So that's the distance. Now, that hotel is a walk-up hotel. And the reason for that is because we are staying on the actual island of Venice. You'll see when we get there that Venice, that area is made up of like hundreds of islands, and the actual, the Venice is on an island, and most people stay off the island and they stay on the mainland because A, it's affordable, and B, there's more choice. I really wanted us to be right near St. Mark's Square. So it's an older boutique type hotel, and it is walk up, which means you got to carry your own luggage up the stairs. Okay, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be more than a couple of floors. But having said that, you know, there's always people, we always help each other out if we need it. But please, you guys do consider managing your own luggage. And you can bring as much as you want or as little as you want. What I have found from these trips in the past is almost everybody at the end of the trip says they brought too much luggage and they wish they wouldn't have, because they want to pick up a few things and they want to bring some things home, and they just don't want to be spending all the time packing and unpacking suitcases. But whatever it is, my suitcase is going to be a good size. You know, my suitcase is not a small over the, you know, overhead bag. Mine is going to be a suitcase, but some people travel. We did one trip where a husband and wife each had a backpack, and they lived the whole trip out of that backpack. So it's really up to you what you want to do.
Is there laundry facilities along the way?
Svetlana said there'll always be opportunity to be able to do some laundry. And usually on trips like that, it's where you walk over, you drop your stuff off, you go off on the tour for the day, and then when you come back, you pick up your laundry at the end of the day.
And you mentioned luggage size. Sorry, I'm just going to, you mentioned, like, because I've done this a lot. You mentioned luggage size. Is there a limitation? Because there's 27 of us with the capacity of what the bus can hold? Because sometimes that dictates what we bring.
Right. I'm going to clarify that, but they have not. I did specifically ask her, and they did not give us any limitation at all. Whereas in Ireland, we were only allowed to bring a small suitcase. But I asked Svetlana about that, and she checked in with Patricia. But I'm going to verify that, just given the total number of us plus the, you know, tour coordinator and that. So I'll let you guys know. But at this point, there was no suitcase size, other than we really want you to be able to manage your own suitcase.
Question, Monique?
Yes.
As far as eating, like there's 27 people, do we break out in small groups, or would we eat, like we'll have that morning meal, but then lunch and dinner, will we just, how's that going to work for us?
I have no idea. So Svetlana and the Italian tour guide coordinate all of that. So the breakfast is included every single day in your trip. And we encourage you guys to have a really good hearty breakfast. Then when we're out and about, what they will do is they will always create the opportunity for you to be able to get something. And if it's appropriate, then, and if it's appropriate, we can select a place for everybody to go. And for most dinners, we will select and suggest a place where we can go. So if people want to stay together as a group, but because your lunch and dinner are on your own, meaning you're paying it, you're never obligated to go where we suggest. So Fraser and I, on all of the trips, typically what we do is we let the group know on the bus ride. We'll say, you know, we're going to be going to this particular restaurant, and we can make a reservation. How many of you just want to join us? And if people want to, they do. And then other people, they want to go to a local market. They don't want to eat dinner, you know, whatever it is that they want to do. So during the lunchtime is typically always during the day tour of whatever it is we're doing. So they will direct us to places, or they will organize for all of us to go in a place. But like I say, just know you do not have to join us if you don't want to. And then dinner, again, same thing. And then the evenings, most of the time, either we're still out on location in the evening, or we're in a hotel where we gather if we want to after dinner, or we have dinner at the hotel. So it's not that structured that I can say, you know, in Venice, we're eating in this bar or whatever, but we will always provide you with what you need. We're not just going to like throw you out there and go figure out kind of thing. We'll always give you an option that you can do as part of the group, and then you can wander off and do your own thing if you want.
Right.
Can I, question, have you estimated some kind of per diem? Like how much should we bring? Like, is there some kind of guideline?
So I can get probably something a bit more specific, but what Svetlana said was she thought if we had 300 or 400 euros, that would be a good amount.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Okay. So your only expenses, your only personal expenses once you get there are lunch and dinner. And then you're on the free days. So when we have a free day, for example, in Tuscany, then you're on your own. So whatever it is that you do on that day is you're on your own for that day. The Capri, those of you that are doing it, you've already paid to get your ticket for that. So it's your lunch and dinner you're absolutely responsible for. Any alcohol you have, you're responsible for, unless it's included in some of the group meals. So we do have a group dinner at the beginning of the trip. We have a group dinner at the end of the trip, and those group dinners are included in the trip. Sometimes we can coordinate to get some alcohol in there, like they'll throw in a free drink, but not always. But your alcohol pretty much always is going to be on your own. So those three, food and drinks, those two, and then souvenir shopping, that type of thing, or if you have laundry, those sorts of things. So those of you that are shoppers and you know you love to shop and you know you're going to buy Murano glass and you're going to buy pottery and you're going to want to get some olive oil, you're going to need to, either bring more money or you can absolutely access money there, no problem. If you have an ATM card, you can go to ATM and get your money out.
And they'll take credit cards for everything.
They will take credit cards, but in small villages, keep in mind, if you're in a small village or you're in a market or something like that, you want to have some euros available. Some places take American dollars. I really wouldn't bank on that. I would have euros, use the currency there, and especially in markets and that. So have some currency and have some small bills.
I just wanted to give a weather report.
Yes.
So every day I look and see what it is. So it's always a bit cooler in Venice. So Venice right now, it's 8 o'clock. It's 25 degrees. In Florence, it's 28. And in Rome, it's 26.
Yeah.
So I think if we keep looking at that closer to, it'll help us decide on what clothing.
Yes.
Right? Because it doesn't seem to cool off as much as it does certainly in at least in Vancouver. I mean, that's all I can compare it to. But if you know what the temperature is, it kind of lets you know, like, oh yeah, this will be good. And yeah, I just look at it every day to see what it is. It said in the weather report that it was an average of 27 degrees, but you can see that Venice is a lot cooler than what it is in southern Italy.
That's right. And that was the actual plan, why we're starting in the north of Italy and we're working our way down, so that the further along the time is, towards the end of September, we're heading south where it is going to be warmer. So it's like Vancouver. And when I say that, I've been to Rome, I've been to Italy. It's like Vancouver in that it can say that that's the prediction and then it can change. It's September, so things can change. And you can have a day where it might be light, with thus my little Italian fold-up umbrella here, where it might be raining lightly, but really for the most part it's going to be lovely, and we anticipate it's going to be in the 20s every day. But there's been heat waves. Italy has had 35-degree weather that they've never experienced before in the last month, so who knows. But Dan is exactly right. Get on site a week before and you'll see exactly what the predictions are for each place that we're going to be going.
Just a quick question, Monique, just really super quick, in regards to the food. Do we have to tell you for the dinners that is being provided for us our dietary needs, like vegetarian, or is that, do we just kind of leave it when we get there?
Yes, so are you vegetarian?
Yep, vegetarian, well, aquatarian, so I'll eat fish.
Okay.
Seafood, but no meat.
Okay, so that is one of the things that Svetlana, I talked to her this morning, and she's given me a few things here that I want to read to you that are pertinent about those kinds of things. Let me just see what else I have on mine here. Okay, so I think that's it. So let me just read to you Svetlana's messages here so that I don't miss anything, and then with that, we will wrap up. So we're going to do another call about a week before. Just so that, and Svetlana's going to be on that call, just so that logistically, if there's anything, we can go over it on that call. Plus, it'll give us a chance to meet again. And let me just say what she's got here. Sorry, guys, just give me 1 sec to open up the messenger chat. All right. Okay, so here's what Svetlana says is 1 week to 10 days prior to departure, I would like to have a call with them so that if there's any last minute questions, I can answer them. Today, please let them know that this is a long list. Okay, so make sure everybody is aware that they should have their own medical insurance. So make sure you have your own medical insurance. Please tell your guests to let me know if they have any special dietary preferences. So I'm leaving it up to you guys to contact Svetlana and just to let her know if you're vegetarian or whatever it is you have, please let her know that so that for the meals that are organized, she can coordinate that. The breakfasts will have options for everybody. And also, if you want to sit with your roommate on the plane, then you need to let her know. Now, she says, airlines typically charge money for seat selection, but I will do my best because this is for the group, the people that are all on the group flight, right? The ones that are all opting into the group flight that she organized. She says, I will do my best to select seats and put you together without an additional fee. But if you're really adamant and you want to, and you and your roommate want to sit together and you want to potentially pay that additional fee, let her know. So what I'm going to suggest for that is rather than all of you contacting her individually, I'm going to ask you please to let me know and let me know in the group. Okay, so in the Facebook group or the Facebook chat, please put in there that you've discussed it with your roommate and you want to sit together, okay? And if you don't care, then that's okay. We're all going to be likely together in a group on the plane. It's just whether you want to be right beside somebody in particular. If you have any allergies, she needs to know that, okay? So if you have any food allergies or if you're allergic to bee stings or something like that, we need to know that, or she needs to know that. And we expect you to carry your own things that you need. So if you need an EpiPen, you carry your own EpiPen. Medications, she just wants to remind you that if you have any medications, to please make sure that you put a note on your packing list to have them. She said the last trip they did, one of the clients forgot her medication at home, and the first 2 days we had to spend time finding a doctor and a pharmacy to get all the prescriptions and whatnot. And that's it. So that's the things that she wants to know. So let her know if you have food allergies or food preferences like being vegetarian or gluten-free, and if you are and if you want to sit with your roommate, let me know. Now, when it comes to diet, you have to remember we're traveling, and you are not traveling in Canada and the US. This is going to be very different if you haven't traveled to Europe before. It's not like you can walk in any place and that you can have gluten-free, whatever. So, you know, because they will know about it, we'll do our best to certainly to provide choices of places where you can have those selections, but it's just not as readily available as it is here where you walk in a store and everything is right there for you to choose. All right, so any final burning questions before we sign off?
I have one question. It's Sandy.
Yeah.
I haven't received an email with my flight, like with my ticket information, and I just want to make sure I didn't miss it. I know I've paid for it.
And are you on the group flight?
Yeah.
Yeah, she hasn't sent that out yet. They're still
Okay.
coordinating our seats and stuff like that.
All right, thank you.
All right, so I want to thank you guys so much for being on the call. It's only a month away. I tell you, it's just a blink of an eye that we'll have another Zoom call, and then we will be on our way. And what I would encourage all of you to do is to set the intention that you want for yourself. Start thinking about it now. And a collective intention of unexpected magical miracles, because that has worked for us in trips in the past. And when we collectively hold an intention, it really opens up the space for unexpected, magical, miraculous things to happen. All right, so thank you so much, you guys, for being on the call. And we will close off here with a little Dean Martin music as you sign off. So, ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao, tutti.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Ciao.
See you all soon.
I do.
Well, maybe there won't be any music. I can't find it.
We'll sing amongst ourselves.
Yeah, we can all sing to ourselves.
There we go. Here we go.
Volare, oh, e cantare, la da da da, nel blu, dipinto di blu, la la la, distrarre lassù, e volare, 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 la la la, la la li, la la la. Ciao!
Ciao, tutti.
Ciao. See you all soon.